Good morning, LGBT things. I'm wearing tie-dye today in honor of people getting beheaded.
しあ光る
Get his ass. Need I say anything, or is this gonna just turn into another complaining about Tanaka segment? Like, I don't know a single person that likes him as a character. I don't think he's fully supposed to be an antagonist, but he just comes across as a really annoying antagonist. But I get the feeling that the author wants him to be a little more of a gray area. And I think if there was just one or two scenes that could do something to endear us to him, like I was talking about in the previous episode, if he entered that scene as a rescuer and not an antagonist, it might trip something in our brains and be like, oh, that's interesting. It might trip something in the viewer's brain to think of him less badly. But when he just waltzes in like he knows everything, acts superior to everybody, never explains anything, laughs when Yoshiki is freaking out, doesn't do a thing to help, even though he's in danger too. I don't know, man. Don't piss me off. Just going on vibes, Mokumoku does not want us to hate Tanaka. But they are not doing anything to make us not hate Tanaka. Does that make sense? He doesn't come off as knowledgeable, he just comes off as arrogant. He doesn't come off as mysterious, he just comes off as annoying. If we're supposed to be rooting for him to some degree against the company, right? Well, frankly, I'm not rooting for him because he's given me no reason to root for him. I know the company is bad, but Tanaka's annoying, and that's a worse crime in fiction. On with the show. He was not even in a bed, he's just on the slab.
本当なの？武田のじじいが暴れたって。
まさか警察とかさ。
集落内のちょっとしたいざこざってことで済まされるみたい。私は
Okay, that's
被害届出したって。
bad, but probably for the best.
まだ目覚めてないよ。
ここまで長かった。本当運がいい。
I never want to see your face again.
権限しているとは。持つどころか自らを弱体化させている。僕の目的はすでに果たされつつあったってことですか。
Your ultimate goal? You're not that caliber of anime villain. Bro thinks he's pain or something.
親父は多分助からんらしい。心臓発作やと。
駆けつけたが間に合わなかった。すみません。
Don't give your condolences like this whole thing wasn't your fault, man.
そういえば僕のサングラス知りませんか？
目の前にあるやろ。もしかして目が見えとらんのか？
That's what my students think will happen if I take my glasses off. They're convinced that my eyes stop working as soon as I take them off. Now, I could have swore that Hikaru was on oxygen in this scene, and that Kurebashi was there. Am I mixing this scene up with something else? Don't talk to me about annoying. He's Iori. This is known.
お前は一体何が目的でここに来た？
うちの会社はね、あの世由来のあるものを探してるんだ。
Their world. Okay. Is the company run by creatures from the other side?
脳抜き様。あれを何とかする気なのは間違ってないっすよ。少なからず僕は人間の味方ですから。
If you're so much on humanity's side, can you give us some information so that we can believe you and trust you? This scene is probably new, I think.
危ないこととかに巻き込まれてないよね。もし困ってるなら。
Shady business.
ごちそうさま。
よしき、大丈夫か？
別に。
Okay, it was just two separate scenes.
なあ、知っとる？ダルマ塚トンネルがなんで心霊スポットになったんか。人の骨が見つかったんよ。でも変なことに胴体の骨だけやったの。その後、腕刈りでは腕の骨だけが、
Yep.
足取りでは足の骨だけが見つかってね。 分割埋
Don't
葬
know
の
head.
習慣があったと言われとるけどね。一番不思議なんが頭蓋骨だけどっからも見つかってないんよ。
そういえば俺が見てきた化
Every
け物たちもみん
monster
な
so far
首から上
has
がお
been
かしいやつ
messed
らばっ
up
か
in the head.
でも妙やね、その人刀の。
霊媒師とかですか。こいつを払うために。
こんなの払えやせんわよ。人ができるんは物理的に村から連れ出すとか閉じ込めちゃうとか。
Oh,
常に
don't
警
do
戒し
that.
て危ななったらうちに逃げなさい。私もその男調べてみるわ。見える人には見える人
I like to
なり
think
の
she's not even
探し
talking
方があ
about
るんや。
her medium ability. She's just nosy.
霊媒か、もしくはあの会社の。
光る、おい光る、大丈夫か。
I liked this scene a lot in the manga. Please make it very, very cool. For me, specifically. Ooh, the reflection of his eye in his eye. That was sufficiently cool.
俺2日も寝とったんか。
Sunflowers and a melon.
お
It's
前
very Hikaru.
痛覚なかったんとちゃうの。
そのはずやったけど最近ちょっと。
俺のせいやな。
ちゃうよ、そういうんやめろや。
Is the half of him that's in the xiphoid process just not able to be sensed?
それ分かっとって俺は。
またあいつに襲われたら。
Because people can sense that Yoshiki is mixed, but they're not saying that it's a huge, overwhelming presence like when Hikaru shows up. But if it's half of him, people would be having the same reaction to Yoshiki since he's carrying that thing around as they would to Hikaru. So it makes me think that it's not just that Hikaru put half of himself in the bone, it's that somehow the bone seals it away and it can't really be accessed or detected as much.
また首切られてもくっつくしな。でもなんか首取りやすくなったかも。
なあ、その線消えへんの。
ね。うわ、待って、ほんまに首取れるかも。は？
Time to start wearing a green ribbon, I guess.
ほんまよかった。意外とマキが一番心配しとってん。光おらんとつまんねーって10回くらい言っとったけど。
てか、さっきから何書いとん
Yoshiki's
の？
transcribing the whole conversation.
うぬきさん調べとんのか？ここら辺に昔あったインゴやで。
Maki is a wealth of
昔
untapped
この
knowledge.
辺りにはな、口減らしの風習があったんよ。中絶するために薬を作ったうろ抜き薬、間引き薬って意味らしいで。打退薬を使うことを山のうぬきさんにお返しするって隠語で表すようになって、そのうち山の神様として祀られたりし、うぬきさんのせいかもな。
I think this is one of those things that we find out it's only partially true, but a mythos has built up around it, like most of the other folklore in here. And we keep getting all these leads and thinking maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, and it turns out that maybe none of them are true, but maybe all of them are true.
そういうんって大体最後はボロが出て結局元の場所に帰るんちゃう？
てか、マキ、なんでそんなに詳しいん？
Because his brother, yes, I'm a big fan of his brother. He's not even a character, he's just a phone a friend, but something about that is so charming to me.
東京の大学行っとるんやな、マキの
That's what
兄貴。
Yoshiki wants to do.
ああ、ヨシキも行きたいんやったっ
Yeah,
け？
he wants to get out
何
of
の
here.
勉強するん？虫博士。
Entomologist Yoshiki, I love it.
昨日の夜うち来たよな。
わからん。記憶がぼんやりしとって。
Hold on,
なんでそんな
wait.
ことしたんやろ。
We didn't see the scene of Hikaru walking to Yoshiki's house and showing up in the middle of the night. I think post credits, or maybe they'll end with it, and I hope that it's really scary.
兄貴から返事。分損した1700年頃には、うぬきさんの信仰はとっくに失われてた。この地域に介入するとたたられると囁かれ続けてたんよ。そしたら、当時弾圧されてた別の宗教の信者たちが逃げてきて、こんなん知りたがるとか、もしやお前もオカルトマニアか？
ああ、うん。でも、首たちには教会なんか一個も。信仰が失われた。本当にそうなんか？
もともとあの山の神さんための祭りやね。
less likely that it disappeared than it just turned into something. Yes, exactly. Folklore tends to not just vanish like that, but to morph and change. It wasn't originally worshipped as a cursed god. It was worshipped and then something happened and then they were like, oh, it's a curse. So we gotta change our practice. Mhm.
他の村は能の貴様を忘れたけど首たちだけは忘れんかった忘れられへんかったインド家が犯した罪の落とし前をつける必要があったから首たちだけが解放されんかった
なあよしき聞いとる
Cool. Kubitachi was never forgiven. That's really interesting to me. I think you could look at it two different ways. That somehow all the other villages were able to move past and atone for whatever it was that happened, pay back whatever sort of karmic debt. Thus, they were able to forget about Nonuki-sama and move on to other things, to other religions, to a little more of a peaceful life. They don't have to do their rituals anymore. Their debt is paid. They don't have to do this anymore. They've been forgiven. But Kubitachi, their debt was so strong, what they did was so heinous that they are 300 years later still repaying, still indebted, still unforgiven. Or we look at it the other way from a more humanist perspective. And it's that the humans of Kubitachi curse themselves, are unable to forgive themselves because they're clinging on to this old idea, doing all these old rituals, unforgiven because they believe they are unforgiven. And if they would let go of this, let go of their belief in this god, let go of the sins of their forefathers, let go of their old rituals, they would find that they were never in danger to begin with. Does that make sense? One perspective is like viewing the god and the religion and the folklore as in charge and in control, and that the humans have to pay off their debts or make their sacrifices, and then everything is forgiven. And that Kubitachi is the only region that hasn't paid off their debt yet. The other is starting from a human perspective and looking at the gods and the folklore as constructs of the human mind. And if the humans were to simply stop giving merit to these beliefs, they would be free from them. Kubitachi is either still at fault and still needs to atone, or they are stuck in their old ways and could have been free a long time ago.
あのグラさんのおっさんはどこまで知っとんのやろ
なんかしてくる前に武田のじいさんが言うとったどう調べんとあ鍵持ってきたか
This was so scary in the manga because it wasn't colored or textured. It was really hard to tell they were made of wood at first.
この土地は昔から悪いことがよう起こる。やから、うぬけ様に首を捧げて。
We offer these heads. Is he talking about real heads?
疫病退散とかな。捧げた首はその場で消える。やから、木で
Is the Indo's role
どうで供養しとるんや。
in the village almost like
せやに。
undertakers?
病でもう長くない人が
Keepers of the dead, they're the head carriers when somebody dies.
けどな、村の外れに小さな祠があるやろ。あれは旅の坊さんが
Right. It doesn't really answer the question, are we taking the heads after somebody has died? Or are we killing people for their heads?
せやに、坊さんだけやない。他にも罪の
Right.
ない人たち
They
が
did that
た
in
く
the
さん殺
past.
されて
Is
殺
that
された
still going on? Is my question.
ヒカル、これがこの村の子や。絶対忘れたらあかんで。それに、インド家の罪のことも。
ベタに人殺しの村やったんか特定の捧げ物って
Yes, yes. It is the freaking murder village. That's an excellent way to put it. Peachy! Girl, come back!
儀式の時に山へ持って行って
But is that all that the ritual is? I feel like there is a missing piece. They bring Hichi up to the mountain and bring her back. Is that it? Is it purely symbolic? I like to think there is something else going on that we don't know about yet, that is possibly much darker. It could be that all that remains of the ritual is for a man of the Indo family to bring Hichi's head up to the mountain every so often, more of a representation of what they used to do in the past. Maybe that's all the ritual is. I like to think, and I sincerely hope, that there is something more to it than that, that we are not being told, that we haven't found out yet. Something much darker or much weirder. Because I want it to be freaky. I know this show, this story, is capable of being freaky. And so I want it to commit to that.
エルに首なんかいらんのになんで
結局インドの罪言うんは
思い出せそこはま
That
だ
we
親
don't
が
know.
かかっとる
他に光のお父やんと親しくていろいろと知ってそうな人なんて
Can we try to talk to Grandpa again?
俺には
I feel like we gave up too quickly with Grandpa. Okay, now there's... Yes, okay. I was
冷たく
correct.
て空っぽや
Hikaru is going to walk over to Yoshiki's house
そしたら満たされるから
in the post.
それが
All weird like.
俺のやるべきこと
光なんやボケっとつったってどうしたん
うん
そこにおらんで入ってこいよ
あああったかい
光
Is he truly losing form, losing his sense of self, or is this just a visual representation of how he feels?
光
We don't get to know. Hello, I'm back. I had to go to work. It's now nighttime. I wanted to give some closing thoughts that I didn't have time to give at the end of the episode. For starters, I've mentioned before that Hikaru, the goop inside of him, looks like cells. But what it really looks like to me, especially in that last scene there, is cancer. You can see normal cells, and then his cells show up and start multiplying really, really fast, overtaking in this unchecked way. Hikaru is getting kind of hazy. He doesn't have the strongest grip on his human form right now. He kind of entered this fugue state to go to Yoshiki's house. And there's a number of different things that could be causing that. It could just be that Hikaru's body was not meant to sustain this god for very long. And so it's kind of reaching that natural limit. It could be that he was weakened by giving half of himself to Yoshiki. It could be that Tanaka cutting off his head did something, and now he slips out much easier, and it's a lot harder to control his desires. And we were doing so good. Episode 3, when Yoshiki decided he wanted to try to teach Hikaru how to be more human. And I think episode 4, when Hikaru was like, I don't want to be scary. I don't want all that gross stuff to come out of me anymore. I want to be normal. I want to be human. I want to be like you. And he was doing pretty good for a while. But it's difficult to live in a way that goes against your nature. And we will see more of this slippage next episode, probably. I think that's all I got for today. So I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what exactly happened, but when I took that week off, I think YouTube had stopped recommending my stuff to people. Views have completely tanked after I had a brief hiccup in my upload schedule. So I think YouTube is just not pushing my stuff to the regular people. I never want to be one of those people that's like and subscribe and give me views. I'm more just saying this because I am interested to see, like, yeah, if any of you have feedback or noticed that YouTube stopped serving my stuff to you. When? When did you notice? I know the algorithm rewards consistency. I didn't realize that it would punish inconsistency this badly. But nevertheless, we ball. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.